Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuoki Kyoto Wins. We are along Hachiro Iba's route. We had just been saved by Iba from Takeda. We actually, for some reason, went out to confront him, and that kind of turned on us. But fortunately, yeah, Iba was there. But at the moment, someone's creeping up behind us, so let's see who that is. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Then I heard some footsteps creep behind us. I saw Takeda walking over there a second ago. Was he speaking with the two of you? Sanin. I wasn't sure how to describe the events that just transpired, but Sanin turned to look at Iba for an explanation anyway. Iba, it came to my attention that you and Takeda were involved in an altercation. It'd be wise to keep cooler heads in the future. Oh no, the tea became cold. It wasn't Iba's fault. I tried explaining the situation, but Sanin cut me off. The reason for Takeda's foul mood may be related to something like the recent slump I was in. I suggest that you do not provoke him any further. Well, that kind of depends on him, doesn't it? During your slump? Iba looked puzzled, but Sanin nodded. As a master of the Koshu military science, he'd grown used to people depending on his expertise. That is, until Ito joined our ranks. Ah, so he's another one that got screwed over by Ito. Ah, I remember the mood during the time of Ito's first arrival. That's right. It was Ito's presence that served as the straw that broke the camel's back for Sanin, which drove him to drink the water of life. Sanin smiled with clear self-derision. He is desperate to make his mark in the Shinsengumi, just as I am. But that gives him no right to take out his frustration on people he thinks are beneath him. That is inexcusable. Well, you do have a point. He should be reprimanded for exploiting his position in the interest of flaunting power over others. However, as they say, the cornered rat will bite the cat. It's better for us to be safe than sorry. Sanin followed his statement with a stoic gaze in Iba's direction. I'd advise you to watch your back as well. If you underestimate him, you will be in for an unpleasant surprise. He may get the best of you. Yes, I'll be sure to keep that in mind. Sanin raised an eyebrow at Iba's response, then he curtly bowed and turned around. He made a swift return for his room, looking over his shoulders as if to avoid being seen by others. Surprised he was out here in the first place. Iba looked as if he had something more to say as we watched Sanin go. I wouldn't blame him. Sanin, whom he'd known since the Edo days, had become a fury. I'm sure he feels the pain of loss in his own way, a way different than Kondo's or Hijikata's. After a silent pause, Iba looked at me. The same goes for you as well. Watch out for Takeda. Don't let yourself be caught alone with him. Yes, I know. If something happens, no matter how big or small, send me a letter and I'll come for you. Thank you so much. That might take too long, though. I knew that I couldn't let my guard down, but in this moment I felt so safe and relieved with him. After sharing a smile, Iba and I returned to the room. Both Kondo and Dr. Matsumoto seemed so wrapped up in their conversation about the physical exams, it was as if they didn't realize we had left the room.
Ah, yes, Doctor. How did the physicals go? Ah, yes, about that. This sure is a headache.
What? Why is that?
What do you mean, why? The amount of injured and sick warriors is nearly a third of your force.
What? Impossible!
It is not only possible, Kondo, it is the truth. What have you been doing to these poor men? Cuts, lacerations, bowel pain. This entire place is lousy with, well, lice for one.
Seriously, I'm so embarrassed to hear this. I never would have imagined.
First, you need to set aside a room dedicated to medical care. Sick men can be sent there. Second, you need to clean this place up. Otherwise, I won't be able to help you.
Understood. I'll get to it this instant. So we were ordered to clean the entire compound. And now we can skip. And again, it's not any of my business. Do we only get to check on Okita during Okita's route? I forget. I think maybe we get to check on him during, Saito's route and Yamazaki's. But I hate doing this. And here I choose my father. And here's the new text. May 1866. A year had passed since we moved to the Nishihonwanji Temple, and I'd become quite accustomed to my life here. Ever since the incident with Takeda questioning me aggressively, Iba would occasionally visit the compounds. I'm inclined to think he visits us because he's trying to watch out for me. But he's also had a long-lasting relationship with the captains of the Shinsengumi since their days back in Shii Hall. Iba's approachable and warm demeanor made it easy for the other warriors to warm up to him and hold him in high regards. However, Takeda, for obvious reasons, still doesn't seem fond of Iba. During one of the aforementioned visits,
Go ahead, come at me from any angle. Then I will take you up on that offer. Yeah! Nice one, next!
Iba had visited while the men were conducting a training session, and Iba, being the skilled master he was, took part in some of the training exercises. His swordsmanship was so superb, as good if not better than some of the captains, that I couldn't help but be impressed.
Perhaps the warriors have trained adequately for the day. I think it best to end training here. What? Over already? I mean, Hachiro is here, and I want to see him bust out his badass swordsmanship. The purpose of training is to improve one's swordsmanship, not for the sake of entertainment. Don't forget your duties. Fine, I guess. You guys start cleaning up.
Nagakura began gesturing his orders to the warriors to wrap up their session.
Wait a sec. Can I get in on this? I don't want to lose this opportunity.
Are you sure you're well enough? Okita had suddenly appeared from the building. He walked in, sword in hand, ready to fight. Okita had curled his lips, smirking in a haughty fashion as he offered a sword to Iba. Shouldn't Iba have already had a sword? Of course, if you think you can't handle it, I won't force you. Iba didn't even flinch or react to his offer. Please, it would be rude for me to reject your challenge, and as such, I'm obliged to accept. It's a pleasure, Okita. Okita grinned in response. Oh man, who would have thought I'd get to see a matchup like this? I guess I built up some good karma. Geez, you look too excited.
Soji versus Hachiro, huh? I wonder who will win. As a member of the Shinsengumi, I'm obligated to root for Soji.
Hey, everyone, shut up. And someone step up to referee this match, or we'll never get started.
Alright, I'll do it. Ready? Go!
As soon as Heisuke motioned the match to start, the whole area fell silent. Both men were enveloped in a fierce aura, and all of us watching stood idly by, unable to move. The vibe was tensely still. Neither man dropped his guard, making it difficult for either to strike. Just then, Okita lowered his sword ever so slightly. In the next moment, Iba thrust forward rapidly, and he swung toward Okita. But Okita read Iba's body movements, anticipating the strike and deflecting Iba's sword. Okita watched as Iba's stance had faltered, and Okita moved in to jab with his sword. Iba saw through the first strike, parrying Okita's blade with a horizontal block. However, Okita unleashed a flurry of swings. As his blade danced wildly toward Iba, Okita's swift attacks were hard to follow in real time. It was almost impossible to believe that such techniques were being performed by a human. I could barely keep up. Saito? Who do you think is going to win this match? I turned to Saito, who was sitting beside me, and he responded at first with a small nod. Well, there is little need to remind you of what Soji is capable of. However, Hachiro is the heir of the Renbukan, one of the 4 most elite dojos in Edo, and he is tasked with protecting the shogunate. The 2 of them had engaged in a few matches when we were at Shii Hall, but back then they were considered to be equally skilled. So, does that mean you don't know who's going to win? It looks as though it has already been decided. Huh? Shouldn't have taken your eyes off the match. Just as I had asked that. Iba's sword was parried, and he dropped to his knees.
Match point!
As Heisuke declared the game over, Iba sighed in acceptance of his defeat. I lost that one. Well, considering your opponent was Soji, I'd say you put up a damn good fight.
I'll say, that match had everything. You guys went back and forth, and there were a few close calls on Soji's end too.
Yeah, it got a little close at times, but...
Okita's cold gaze beamed toward Iba as he stood over him.
If this is all you got to give, then I could beat you any time of the day with my hands tied.
Iba's brows furrowed slightly.
And what do you mean by that, Okita?
Exactly what he said, I think.
Oh, you need me to spell it out for you? I used to think we were pretty hot when it came to your swordsmanship.
Okita sneered before making his next remark.
Your swords become pale and lifeless.
Okita's tone revealed his disinterest, and he shrugged before dismissing himself from the room. Iba stood up straight, and he shot an intense glare in the direction of the departing Okita.
My sword is lifeless.
Okita's words seemed like they stung Iba deeply.
So, who's next? Sano wanna go? Our weapons are too different for a one-on-one.
Alright, then I'll...
Just when it looked like Keisuke was about to volunteer himself.
Wait.
As we looked toward the direction into which Okita left, Takeda walked in.
If you're looking for a new contender, would you mind if I threw my hat into the ring? I would love to see Iba's Kotengu for myself, seeing as it's become the talk of the town.
Takeda, what is he trying to pull? I wasn't the only one who sensed something was off, as the captains looked bewildered by his entrance.
Oh, they'll tell me someone of your strength and stature can't handle a match with a small fry like me over here. Ah, I guess it is to be expected of a member of Iemochi's guard. You sure are haughty. Hey, Takeda.
Sarada was about to stop in.
I just thought it would be a good opportunity to spar with someone I'd never get to fight otherwise. Even so, perhaps there are plenty of other people I'd much rather have a chance to fight anyway.
As he said that, Takeda glared toward me. Seriously? Are you even thinking about that? He wants a match with me? I stood there puzzled by his suggestion, and Iba stepped forward.
Very well, I'll have a match with you. Then I will be the adjudicator.
As Saito volunteered to referee the match, Iba and Takeda stood to face each other.
Swords on the ready. Fight.
As Saito swung his arm to begin, the two moved into their attacking stances. We get to see Takeda's fighting stance, which looks pretty cool. I just hoped no one would get hurt. Especially Iba, since he had just finished the match with Okita. Yet hardly seems fair, he's already tired out. Before we knew it, the metallic clang of their clashing blades filled our ears as we watched. Compared to the intense movement of his earlier match, Iba seemed to move a little more sloppily. Takeda seemed to have picked up on this. He flashed a menacing smirk, as if he'd already won. Takeda didn't want to miss his opportunity, so he moved in with a strike that had the full force of his body behind it. But then...
You bastard!
Iba followed the path of the incoming attack, and he narrowly deflected the attempted strike.
What?
Before Takeda had a chance to recover... In an instant, Iba shifted the tide of the match by pressuring Takeda and cornering his movements.
There's no chance I'm going to let you take me so easily. I've had my share of opponents, and nothing you throw will surprise me. Oh, you insolent twerp.
Takeda's face warped in anger, and he kicked the ground in an effort to close the distance between them. Ah! Takeda tried to stab his blade into Iba's throat with an upward thrust. Iba was able to dodge him with ease. Saito, you're supposed to be refereeing here. But Takeda persisted, then trying to thrust for Iba's stomach. Wait, was he actually trying to hurt Iba? No sooner had the thought entered my head when...
Halt!
As Saito shouted for them to stop, both men disengaged.
What is it you were trying to do here, Takeda? What do you mean? This match was supposed to be an exhibition of both your skills as swordsmen. However, it is obvious that you're intentionally aiming for Hachiro's vitals, especially when you're using a real sword. No Shinsengumi sword should be swung with the intent of carrying out a personal grudge. I have no idea what you're talking about. Shouldn't all of you know as well as I do how easy it is to be lost in the moment of a heated match? Lost in the moment? Sounds like Mr. Funny Guy over here has jokes. Do you honestly think that we wouldn't be able to judge whether you're fighting with intent or just messing around?
As the warriors circled around the match floor to criticize Takeda's manner of attacking, Takeda continued to insist that he had no intention of harming Iba. Just then...
Well, Kondo. What is the commotion, gentlemen? I believe the rules of conduct explicitly say no personal conflicts allowed. Chief, please hear me out. As a captain of the Shinsengumi, I have never broken the rules of conduct. Can you explain the situation here?
Takeda nodded, taking the time to begin rattling off his list of excuses.
As you know, the Narration style of training with the Shinsengumi is always meant to simulate what real battles are like. But when you're in combat, isn't it important to look out for when the opponents aim for your vital organs? So, wouldn't it be helpful to fight in training like you would fight in a real combat situation?
Kondo stared back at Takeda, listening intently to what the latter had to say, but after taking a deep breath, Kondo offered his deliberation.
I was watching your match from afar. One could easily observe, just by watching you, that your attacks were fueled by hatred, rather than being taken as mere exhibitions of skill.
Takeda's expression froze. I don't think I had ever seen Kondo look as intimidating as he did when facing Takeda.
It is an absolute disgrace for you to attempt to harm Iba, who serves the same shogunate as us. This is not something I'd expect from a captain. Please, wait, Chief, As of now, I have no intention of listening to whatever drivel you may offer as an excuse. I will discuss with the other captains about the appropriate punishment for your actions. I'd suggest you brace yourself.
I could hear the teeth grinding from Takeda's mouth. Kondo dismissed himself curtly. Oh boy, that's gonna be a problem.
Well, as much as I'd like to stay, I must be off now.
Alright, even though things panned out the way they did, I wanted to say thank you for your help with training the warriors. I bowed, and Iba just stared back at me with a glum expression in response. Why am I always making you sad, Iba? Iba, what's the matter? Are you upset about the match with Takeda? Iba shook his head silently.
No, I couldn't care less about that. To tell you the truth, what's bothering me is what Okita said earlier.
Okita? Oh, he must be referring to...
Your sword has become pale and lifeless.
I'm sure there's a story behind that we'll learn. After a moment, Iba looked up, gazing into the late afternoon sky, and he squinted.
Back then, in Edo, Okita and I sparred many times together. Ever since he was a young boy, he'd had a streak for competition, especially pushing himself in ways to make himself stronger. But he never resorted to such snide comments as he did earlier.
Iba's eyes reflected the amber warmth of the sky, forcing a smile through his pained expression.
Well, I guess he's right though. Compared to Okita's sword, mine is weaker. All those years ago in Edo, our skills were much more equal, but I guess we all know when he surpassed me.
I had a feeling I knew what Iba was getting at.
Compared to his upbringing, where he fought tooth and nail to survive, I grew up in the safety of Edo. His blade will always have the edge over mine. I've never faced an opportunity where I had to actually fight for my life, but I'm sure a day will come when I must confront life or death. Until then, it is critical for me to improve my swordsmanship and my personal resolve so that I may hold my head proudly without shame.
Iba appeared to wrestle with these thoughts as the sun began to set above us. The scattering of its color against the clouds looked like blood smeared across a giant canvas. Eventually he turned towards me.
So, this is the place you call home now. Doesn't living here fill you with fear?
Well...
Toshi has told me. Some of the warriors that live here can become bloodthirsty monsters, swinging their swords like demons and murdering people like killers. Aren't you scared to be all alone in a place like this?
I gripped my fists. All my memories fluttered back to me, from the first night in Kyoto to the battle at Ikeda Inn, and so too did the memories of other battles. There's no telling in the future if or when we will come face to face with death once more, and when those who are close to us will be taken. Iba looked as if he read my emotions from my expression.
If you want, I can ask Toshi about the idea of taking you with me.
My eyes became wide with bewilderment. How should I respond? Only if something were to happen. I can't just say yes. But if I said I'm fine, thank you, that's pretty much no. So only if something were to happen. Thank you for your consideration. But I have the same goal as the Shinsengumi. It's imperative for me to find my father, so it makes more sense for me to stay here. At first, Iba was taken aback by my answer, as if he'd expected I would say yes. But it looked as though he'd understood, and he didn't press the issue. I appreciated his consideration. However, if something were to happen, would it be okay for me to reach out to you for help? Iba's eyes widened jubilantly.
Well, that made his day. Of course. We are childhood friends, after all.
His smile reminded me of the same cheeky grin he had as a child. I guess we're remembering that more and more. Just from the tone of our conversation, I could tell just how much Iba was concerned about me. If I were in his shoes, I'm sure I would have done the same thing for him, but for me, this place is the only thing I have that connects me to my father. Knowing my father has key information and research on the Furies means finding him was a top priority. There's no way that I could just turn my back on what I've done here and pretend it never happened. And, more than anything, I wanted to ask my father the truth about the Furies. What led him to becoming involved with the Furies in the first place? Also, was he close to discovering a method of changing Furies back into humans? All of these questions lingered in my mind.
You don't look like yourself when you worry. I know it's kind of difficult to do in the present, but please, for me, keep your head up.
His eyes stared with sweetness into mine, and just then...
Oh, there you are. Hey, Iba.
Someone with whom I wasn't quite familiar was approaching us.
Damn, how long do you plan on staying here for? Don't tell me you've forgotten your whole reason for coming to Kyoto. My apologies. This place feels so close to home that I forget how quickly time passes when I'm here. Well, I know many of your childhood friends are here, so I understand that, but you gotta think of your job.
For a moment, the man shot a probing glance toward me, as if he had been suspicious of me. Don't give me that look.
Are you a member of the Shinsengumi?
Yes, I am.
I see. I don't see any of the other warriors, though. Are they inside the temple?
Yes. Did you need to speak with someone? I could go and call them.
No, I don't. If you call them out, there's no telling what they'll do. There's no need for you to be scared. It's not as if they're going to bite you or anything like that. Well, I know that, but back when I was in Edo, I remember all the men who would start fights with me at the dojo.
Judging by what he just said, maybe he too had met members of the Shinsengumi during the Shie Hall days. He sure seems intimidated by them, though. I guess he didn't enjoy fighting as much as Iba did. This is Kotaro Motoyama. He works under the Jiki-san Hatamoto with me, and he's in charge of records and the evaluation. Hello, I'm Yukimura. Nice to meet you.
Oh yeah, right back at ya.
If he's a Jiki-san Hatamoto, then he should be pretty high up there in terms of prestige, but for some reason, Motoyama seemed way more nervous than I was.
Man, I never expected a person like you to be with the Shinsengumi. I wouldn't be so quick to underestimate just because this one looks like a child. Yukimura is the Demon Commander's page. Demon Commander? Wait, the brilliant warrior Toshizo Hijikata? Let's go home, Iba. I don't want to die yet.
What, you think I'm going to do something?
Hey!
Motoyama yanked Iba, and they ran out of the compounds. It looked as though the Shinsengumi's name had traveled far, even as far as the Bakushin. However, because they had to get their hands dirty now and then, there was never a shortage of people like Motoyama who were afraid to see them for themselves. Ah, the misunderstandings. October 1866, which we get to skip. And this time we choose the notice board, so it's a new thing. Just as Hijikata had predicted, a few days later the order came down for the Shinsengumi to guard the notice board. All divisions not on regular patrol rounds were directed to take turns on guard duty. The first day was quiet, and the men on duty spent most of it simply standing around.
Man, I'm sleepy. Hey, you're becoming a real schlub. You need to sharpen up, man. Oh, come on, give me a break. Pulling an all-nighter at Shimbara is one thing, but standing guard for a goddamn board all night really sucks it out of me. Man, I hope something happens today.
You're not supposed to want that.
So, who's in charge tonight? It's your division, right, Sano? Sure is. I will discharge my duty with honor and enthusiasm.
That's my Harada. Just then... Oh, hello, Ito. Hello to you too, Miki.
Ah, why, hello, you three. Oh, pardon me. Were you in the middle of using this room for something?
Ito and Miki entered the room, followed by a bunch of warriors from the Ito faction.
What's the deal with all these men behind you? Are you up to something here? Oh, me? Oh, well, I was planning to have a debate session with my comrades, the topic being the subject of the new debate. Would all of you like to join us as well? Huh, you sure are a snide one, bro. There's no way in hell these guys would have read the 4 books and 5 classics, let alone be able to participate in any kind of debate. Oh my, what could have possibly gotten into you, little brother? Please excuse him, my dears. I apologize. Darlings, seems this room is already in use, so let's find another place for us to flock. Good lord.
Ito and his men went back out into the hallway and disappeared. As soon as they were out of sight, Nagakura's face warped.
Boy, up to his usual pain-in-the-ass antics, huh? I know. He's gathering men and having secret meetings. Who knows what goes on during those meetings? I still don't get why Kondo and Heisuke brought him here.
Because they needed men, needed to fill the ranks. It wasn't just Nagakura and Harada who didn't seem to like Ito much. I'd heard plenty of the other captains and even some of the soldiers talking about him in less than glowing terms. There was no way Ito himself hadn't picked up on it, but he seemed to have larger concerns than his reputation and had devoted his efforts to increasing his power base within the Shinsengumi. Oh, hello, Takeda.
I believe Ito and his men were here moments ago.
Yes, they were just here. They went off to another room to have some discussion or something.
What? Another room? Ugh, I told him to notify me when they have their next meeting.
I guess you're not wanted there either.
I wonder if they're doing this on purpose, so I wouldn't join.
Takeda muttered to himself, and he went out of the common room.
What was all that about? I bet you anything he wanted to be Ito's lackey, but Ito isn't giving him the time of day. Seems like Takeda doesn't really have much of a place for himself here as of late.
As Harada said that, he suddenly got up. Yeah, what ended up being his punishment? After that duel with Iba.
Well, guess it's time. I'm off.
Oh,
What, you want to tag along? Probably not a good idea, kid. Those demons are still after you, right? I can't take you out on the streets at night.
Oh, I suppose you're right. All the sitting around all day started to make me chafe. I wanted to help somehow, but Harada was right. If I went with him, I'd just end up getting in the way. Well, please be careful, okay, Harada?
Sure thing, thanks.
Man, why did they even make that an option if I couldn't go? That night they struck, or tried to. 8 men from the Tosa domain challenged Harada and his division by trying to tear down the notice board. The fighting was furious but short. Harada managed to capture some of the perpetrators, although some of his captives later managed to escape. Harada and his division were honored by the Aizu domain for their service to the shogunate and were given a reward. When he was asked how the captured men had managed to escape, he simply replied, "It was too dark to get a good look," and he said no more. Several days had passed. I accompanied the captains to a meal at Sumi.
Well, I'll be damned. You really did it, Sano. And to think you want to use that reward money to treat us all to some good food. Well.
If you're gonna suck up, you might at least try to mention how he actually got that reward.
I'll get to it. I'm just so touched that he's gonna pay the bill. I think I might cry. Tonight's on Sano, guys. Drink as much as you want. Forget your problems.
Just offer up his money.
Hey, don't go nuts, alright?
Thanks, Sano. I'm gonna drink myself stupid.
Not everyone here can drink, you know.
There's more to do than drink, you know. Eat, for instance.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Hijikata, don't hold back. Drink all you want, okay?
Oh, well, sake.
What? Please don't tell me the commander of the Shinsengumi can't drink any alcohol. Ugh.
Damn you. You know what's up and you're doing this. It's so obvious.
I wasn't sure if it was all right of me, as a woman, to be joining them. But it was an incredibly rare opportunity for me to visit Shimbara. I guess I could enjoy the festivities while here. Thank you for visiting. And Kimikiku makes her entrance, at which point we'll go ahead and stop this video because the whole Shimbara thing is going to take a while, so we'll start off the next video with that. Hope to see you there or in some of my other videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye everybody.